The camera accidentally captured footage of a giant creature reappearing after millions of years of disappearance, shocking the entire world. Welcome to the mysterious universe. Dear friend, over the course of Earth's 4.5 billion year history, our planet has endured 5 mass extinction events. The first event was the Ordovician-Silurian extinction, also known as the Ordovician extinction event, which occurred approximately 444 million years ago. And the most famous event was 66 million years ago, when an asteroid struck Earth, wiping out the dinosaurs. Yet, nature is truly wondrous, bestowing upon us countless mysterious pieces of the living world for us to explore. The letter seemed to traverse eons, from thousands, even hundreds of millions of years ago. Let's explore the mysterious universe to uncover the unexpected return of giant creatures after millions of years of absence. Accidentally caught on camera in today's video. Transforming into a giant creature from millions of years ago. South America has coastlines stretching along both the east and west, with primarily only 2 countries bordering the Pacific Ocean on the western side. Peru is to the north and Chile is to the south. The coastal dunes of Peru are also where archaeologists discovered the Kiko Formation. This formation developed between 15 million and 2 million years ago. This is also the geological formation where archaeologists discovered countless strange fossils, including an exceptionally rare mammal species. The fossil of this unique marine mammal was first discovered in the 1990s. According to initial assessments by paleontologists, this animal belongs to the giant ground sloth genus Megatheridae. Among them, the Megatherium is the most famous. The sea sloth monster. Especially, on the day after the lazy sea monster was officially named. Paleontologists have discovered more fossils of giant sloths in Chile and the southern region of Peru. To date, paleontologists have identified and named 5 species of giant ground sloths. The size of the ancient giant sloth was much larger than that of today's sloths. Among them, the smallest species measures over 2 meters in length, while the largest can reach up to 3.3 meters. The sea sloth monster has a long head and flexible upper lips at the front of its upper jaw, allowing it to easily guide food into its mouth. Inside the mouth of the manatee are 2 rows of strong teeth, which indicate they are solely designed for chewing plants. This also proves that dugongs are typical herbivorous animals. The sea sloths have robust and heavy bodies compared to their heads, making them perfectly suited for lounging around. The sea sloth monster's claws are long and incredibly strong, with large, sharp curved nails on each finger, making them formidable weapons for self-defense. Through fossil analysis, it can be observed that this animal moved rather sluggishly on land. However, when underwater, they are completely different, extremely quick and agile. As mentioned earlier, dugongs are herbivorous animals that primarily feed on seagrass and flowering plants growing on the ocean floor. Sea sloths often sprawl out on the beach to rest, then dive back into the ocean when they go foraging for food. Compared to their ancestors 3 million years ago, manatees have evolved with skeletons that are 20% heavier, allowing them to dive more easily. Underwater, the manatee not only swims with its 4 limbs but also propels itself forward with powerful strokes of its flat tail at the rear. When diving to the seabed, the sloth uses its mental strength to anchor its body, even though it is fully capable of clinging tightly to the ocean floor. When encountering large waves, the giant sea sloth still gets swept away by the current, sometimes even being violently thrown against submerged reefs. The evidence lies in the numerous fossils of giant ground sloths found dead due to dam breaches. However, for those lazy monsters, strong winds and big waves weren't real threats. When they go foraging, the terrifying dangers of the ocean depths also emerge. In prehistoric times, the western coastal waters of South America were frequently home to many fierce predatory species. Here, there are many ancient shark species and toothed whales, the most prominent being the agrophageator sperm whale. The agrophageator fish may be small in size, but they typically live in schools and notably have 2 rows of sharp teeth in their mouths. Like it was made just to hunt down the lazy. The extinction of the giant ground sloth was not actually caused by predators. Instead, everything stemmed from a pivotal dialectical event. About 3 million years ago, the sea between North America and South America gradually disappeared, connecting the 2 continents into one. Due to this incident, the warm ocean current flowing from the Caribbean Sea to the western coast of South America has ceased to appear. And the ocean temperature began to drop. As a result, marine plants can no longer grow and thrive normally. This has caused a food shortage crisis for the sea sloths. At the same time, the sloth's body lacks the thick layer of blubber found in other marine creatures. Therefore, they cannot withstand the cooling and freezing of the sea. Making a living at sea has now become torture. It was precisely due to the crisis when ocean temperatures dropped sharply that the last giant ground sloths went extinct 3 million years ago. The sea sloth monster appeared 7 million years ago and vanished after 4 million years. Finally, it completely vanished by blending into the surrounding environment. Giant cockroach species resurfaces in Australia after more than 80 years of absence. The large, legless wood-eating snake is scientifically named Panatharatha, discovered by Maxim Adam. A student at the University of Sydney discovered something beneath the rocks near the banyan tree in Noti Bay City, part of Lord Howe Island, Australia. The wooden sheep once lived all over Lord Howe Island, but gradually disappeared after rats appeared on the island in 1918. Mr. Atticus Fleming, an official from Lord Howe Island, shared, "It's miraculous that this species still exists, as over 80 years have passed since they were last discovered. Lord Howe Island is truly a marvelous place. This is the home of 1,600 native animal species that no longer exist. Half of these cannot be found anywhere else in the world." The Panatharatha beetle has a body length ranging from 22 to 40 millimeters. With a pale red or black body, shimmering like metal. According to information, Australia is home to 11 species of wood moths belonging to the genus Panathea. This insect species typically lives in mountainous areas and specializes in feeding on decaying wood in the coastal forests of the northern region and the plains of Australia. Inside their gut, there are microorganisms that help digest the cellulose in wood. According to scientists, the wood-eating snake plays a crucial role in maintaining the island's ecosystem balance, because they help accelerate the decomposition of rotting wood, while also serving as a vital food source for many other animal species. Colossal squid. Over millions of years, giant squids like Camarasaurus dominated the ancient oceans with their shells reaching up to 8 meters in length. In Lionel Pronet's nature documentary on Netflix, the filmmakers recreated the hunting scene of the ancient giant squid with unprecedented detail. According to Tom Preche, the program's advising scientist, ancient cephalopods, a class of marine creatures that include squids and octopuses, such as Camarachera and its relatives. They are cone-shaped creatures with hard shells, drifting and crawling across the seafloor to hunt for prey. Camarachera has a massive shell, significantly larger than its head-like face, with large eyes and dense tentacles. It lurks among the crevices, waiting for the shadow of prey to appear. This giant tentacled creature existed 470 million years ago and went extinct approximately 30 million years later. Their modern descendants are the nautiluses, which are quite small and harmless. On the contrary, the fossils that scientists have collected of them are too scarce and fragmented, to the point where the eye sockets of Camarasaurus are astonishingly large. Fossils of the Camarachera species have been discovered in China, Europe, and North America. But expressing the body's softness along with its subtle emotions is no easy challenge. Preche and the research team need to search for surviving or extinct relatives of Camarachera. To reconstruct the missing body parts, researchers face significant challenges because soft tissue fossils such as tentacles and internal organs of this animal are extremely rare. The research team also analyzed modern cephalopod species, such as cuttlefish. Octopuses and squids are studied to gain deeper insights into the movement and intelligence of cephalopods. In the video, the Camarachera crawls along the ocean floor in search of prey. It extended its long tentacles through the crevices of the coral reef and began attacking the prey, which resembled a deep-sea shark. Time travel filming helped the visual effects blend naturally with the historical setting. The doctor hopes that the program will offer the audience a fresh perspective on prehistoric life on Earth. At the same time, it is essential to emphasize the importance of protecting the species that still exist on this planet. The Gen bird has reappeared after 170 years of disappearance. Since life first appeared on Earth, bloody and bizarre events have never ceased to occur. These creatures have not yet achieved true immortality, so their demise is inevitable one day. In everyday life, birth, aging, illness, death are the inevitable natural laws of human existence. Moreover, the Earth's environment is constantly changing, forcing organisms to continuously evolve in order to better adapt to new conditions. If certain organisms do not adapt well to their new environment, they may be eliminated, or in other words, face extinction. Earth's history has witnessed many mass extinction events, the most recent occurring 65 million years ago. Sometimes, there are creatures thought to be extinct or gone for many years, but then suddenly reappear. Is that the secret of life on Earth? On February 24, 2021, the research team led by ornithologist Pansinggu Tiakba published a scientific report in the journal Birding Asia. Villagers in Borneo, Indonesia caught a bird in the forest. A bird with an unusual appearance and a photo of it were later sent to researchers for identification. After thorough analysis, the researchers concluded that this peculiar bird is named the black-browed bush warbler. This bird species was collected and described as early as the 1840s, yet it remains a mystery to this day. It has been called the greatest enigma in the history of Indonesian ornithology. After 170 years of absence, this bird species has finally been rediscovered. The researchers expressed surprise upon discovering that this bird species still exists, despite having disappeared for over a century. But they also wonder how long these birds can survive without support. Is it really safe? Ultimately, apart from environmental factors, can a population sustain its long-term existence? If a species has a large population and diverse migration capabilities, it will significantly contribute to the conservation of that population. If a species has a small population size, its ability to sustain survival is often quite low. The original text appears to contain nonsensical or misspelled words, making it difficult to translate accurately. Based on the adjusted version you provided, here's a possible interpretation in natural English. In 2019, the Directorate of Galapagos National Park, Ecuador, and the Galapagos Conservancy Institute conducted a scientific expedition. On this expedition, they discovered an extremely rare giant female turtle and named her Fernanda. At that time, it was believed that the Fernandina giant tortoise was extinct. This is an endemic tortoise species of the island, once believed to have gone completely extinct after the Fernandina volcano eruption 112 years ago. However, to ensure accuracy, the researchers sent Fernanda's blood samples to genetics experts at Yale University. After comparing Fernanda's genes with those of the male specimen preserved since 1906, Yale University confirmed that both belong to the same species. Since the 19th century, the population of giant tortoises in the Galapagos Islands has declined drastically due to overhunting and excessive exploitation. Currently, the population of giant tortoises of various species in the Galapagos is only about 200,000 to 300,000 individuals, equivalent to 10% to 15% of their former numbers. The largest and longest living creatures on Earth. Elephants are the largest land animals on Earth. When it comes to giant creatures, many people immediately think of a 10-ton African elephant, a 65-ton dinosaur, or even a 190-ton blue whale. But the truth is different. The title of the heaviest living organism on Earth belongs to a tree named Fando, which grows in the state of Utah, USA. This tree weighs up to 6,600 tons and is also the longest living organism on the planet. Biologists estimate that Fando is 14,000 years old and could potentially live for another million years. However, recent observations show that this tree is gradually dying, and we humans also bear some responsibility for it. Since 1939, several times a day, a satellite has flown over the skies of south-central Utah, routinely pointing its camera lens toward the ground. He took photos in the Wahak mountain range and just met rangers in Fremont. There is a forest spanning over 42 hectares, densely filled with golden chestnut trees bearing white trunks. Scientists estimate that this forest contains approximately 47,000 golden chestnut trees. Strangely, all of them are male trees. The DNA analysis results show that the male chestnut trees in Oaxaca are genetically identical. This means they are all just clones from a single original male chestnut tree. Without the need for seeds, these plants reproduce asexually to create identical copies. And deep beneath the soil of the chestnut forest canopy, scientists discovered a massive underground root system where all the male chestnut trees were anchored. In other words, the entire forest is essentially just a giant treasure chest of gold. Although each fallen branch lasts only a little over 100 years on the ground, they are always replaced by new ones. The young tree replaces the old and withered one, sustaining life for the entire underground root system. This chest has existed for over 14,000 years, from the time the first inhabitants set foot in the Americas until the present day. I spread. The giant creature hiding within the wooden tree. Looking at this photo, many people can't help but wonder about the strange creature hiding within the tree trunk. When the tree was split open, its inner wood grain revealed a lustrous golden hue. The correct answer is the wood-boring oyster, scientifically known as Teredo nivalis. Teredo napharet is a wood-boring mollusk species, regarded as one of the most mysterious monsters and a wanderer across the world. They originate from the Northeast Atlantic region but have gradually spread and appeared in many places worldwide. Many believe they are stowaways, secretly hiding in ship compartments and thus traveling the world aboard vessels for centuries. They can live in many places and survive in harsh conditions thanks to their remarkable adaptability. They can thrive in the warm waters of the tropics, the frigid North Sea, the salty Mediterranean, or even the brackish waters of the Baltic Sea. Although it resembles a donkey in appearance, this creature is actually a species of bivalve mollusk. The Teredo napharet has a small, slender body, typically only about 2 centimeters long with an opaque white color, though some individuals can grow up to 60 centimeters. With a stem diameter reaching 1 centimeter or more. Particularly, some individuals have a light brown outer shell with coarse patterns, allowing them to blend easily into their habitat. The distinctive feature of Teredo is its nearly perfectly rounded head. There are 2 curved pieces protruding, made from a rigid, buoyant material, with a rough outer layer for scraping wood. The middle section between the 2 bent parts forms a flat, circular mouth. At the tail of the fish, there are 2 tubes, and these tubes can extend and retract. The large outer tube expands, while the small outer tube narrows. The large tube functions to draw in water along with the aquatic organisms living in it. Because the smaller tube discharges waste outward, these 2 tubes are also called the 2 siphon tubes. The 2 outer tubes are wrapped with 2 layers of wax coating made from lime material. It's not wrong to call Teredo a detestable pest, as they bore into wood from the tiniest size, leaving behind only a hole as small as a needle's eye. From this hole, they will use 2 tracheae to connect the life inside the tree trunk with the external environment. During their growth and development, wood-boring insects often secrete a fluid that can soften wood. The lime-containing liquid hardens and forms clumps around the lobster's burrow, creating white patches. It is this hard layer of lime that protects them, keeping them safe from seawater intrusion. And you know what? Every time the shipworm bores into the tree grows longer with each bite. Each shipworm bores its own separate burrow in the wood, but their tunnels do not intersect. When the wood runs out, the herons also lose their food source and will die on the spot. The wood-boring clam is a hermaphroditic species, sequentially undergoing both male and female stages in its life cycle. The males will release sperm directly into the seawater. The offspring will swim to the area containing sperm and perform fertilization by drawing the sperm into their bodies through the reproductive tract. Here, the eggs will be fertilized and await hatching. Each spawning, the Teredo species can produce between 50,000 to 1 million eggs. Their eggs drift suspended in seawater, then cling to fishing nets or wooden boat hulls to grow. For fishermen who own wooden boats, Teredo worms are devastating pests. Some records from Banthitch Bay indicate that shipworms, Teredo, can turn a waterlogged pine tree into a rotten, tunnel-riddled mass riddled with countless burrows in just 16 weeks. An oak tree with a trunk diameter of 30 centimeters will begin to deform after about 32 weeks and nearly decompose completely within a year. This shows the terrifying destructive power of the Teredo species. However, many believe that since Teredo lives inside trees and is highly nutritious, it is prepared by locals, such as in Thailand, as a specialty dish. Laotian rat, also known as the Laotian mountain rat, is a rodent species that inhabits the Khammounin region of Laos. In 2005, Scientists first discovered this species of rat in the Hin Nam No National Biodiversity Conservation Area in Khammouan, Laos. They described its appearance and named it. When scientists compared the morphological characteristics of the Laotian mouse species with fossil specimens of the ancient mammal family Diatomide, they confirmed that the Laotian rock rat is the only surviving species of an ancient rodent family, previously thought to have gone extinct during the Miocene epoch, approximately 11 million years ago. The Laotian rat has a fairly large head and a characteristically bushy tail, which are the distinguishing features of a mature Laotian rat. This species measures approximately 26 centimeters in length, including the tail, and weighs an average of 400 grams. They typically inhabit limestone mountain ranges in the Khammouan region, Laos, and some areas of Vietnam. They enjoy eating leaves, grass, and especially seeds, occasionally switching to insects as well. Fossils of a penguin species as tall as a human. Scientists have just announced the discovery of fossilized skeletons of giant penguins, as tall as an adult human, in New Zealand. Ducks are aquatic animals that can grow up to 1.6 meters tall and weigh around 80 kilograms. This is the previously undiscovered penguin species Crotvaria whiffalensis, which lived along the coast of New Zealand in the Kikakan region approximately 56 to 66 million years ago. The Canterbury Museum in New Zealand conducted research on fossilized remains of this giant penguin species and announced the findings. This is one of the largest penguin species ever discovered, characteristic of the southern hemisphere's seas. Currently, the largest living penguin species is the emperor penguin.